All right. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining another episode of SellerSPEAK. We're delighted to have Kevin King with us today. And for those of you who don't know who Kevin is like the Dumbledore of e-commerce. He's who can weave spells to make magical products come alive. He's been an industry wizard since 1995, and he started selling on Amazon in 1999. Since then, he's launched hundreds of products, and in 2015, he launched about 5 brands. Products within that has grossed about millions of dollars collectively. And thank you so much, Kevin, for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you here.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Great. So first up, I'm really curious, like back when you started selling online, I'm sure things were very different, right? For starters, the online boom was new. Online shopping wasn't a thing. So from your experience, how have things evolved, and what are the major changes that you see?
Yeah, the major changes are, I mean, I've been selling online since before Google existed. I think Google came in like 1999. So I remember back in the mid 90s, there weren't shopping carts really. So shopping cart systems or anything like that. I remember when Amazon first came out and there was a site for DVDs and CDs and stuff like CD Universe or something like that. It was just really cool just to be able to order a CD or a DVD on the internet and have it shipped to you. I remember when PayPal first started, they were paying people $10 just to sign up for an account. And they give you $10 and they would give whoever referred you $10. So I remember back in those days, I remember when Amazon actually, here in Austin, Texas, where I live, put billboards up on the freeway, big advertisements up on the freeway saying Amazon.com or world's largest bookstore, or whatever it was. So yeah, things have changed. Back then, a lot of people were nervous about giving their credit card over the internet, even though people would go into a restaurant or send it in to mail order through the mail or whatever. They just were nervous about giving over the internet. So things have definitely changed, and as people saw the convenience of it, and you could basically get anything you want at your fingertips from anywhere in the world, life has changed for everybody. So the younger generation that grew up with the internet from day one, from the day they were born, doesn't know what it used to be like 20 years ago when you couldn't just Google something to get an answer.
Yeah, damn right. Like, I can't imagine a world without internet right now. And I can't even imagine how you used to drive traffic to Amazon and, like gain trust of your customers and then make them purchase again and again. I'm sure like a lot of things has changed, and it's so cool to like hear about these things from somebody who's seen it and done it,
Well, some things have changed, but some things are still the same. I have another business that's off of Amazon where I sell calendars, like wall calendars and stuff. And there's a lot of people that collect those kind of things. And half my business in that is still people sending checks and money orders through the mail, through the post.
Wow.
So they're not going on the internet and punching in their credit card. So there's still some of those people out there. It's not all about the internet. There still is a group, at least here in the United States, a group of people that just do it the old-fashioned way. And what's happening now is everybody used to say mail is dead, direct mail is dead. Don't send out catalogs or posts. That you can, it's getting something that you can tangibly hold in your hand cuts through the clutter. And someone goes to check their mail, and there's 5 things in there. They're going to see yours.
I think it's like really cool that right now there's a mix of both, like online and offline strategies. I think it's really nice. And webinars, you help a lot of sellers build private label businesses, right? Can you tell us a little more about your experience so far?
Sure. Like you said earlier, I have 5 brands on Amazon at freedomticket.com, and that's a training for new people. So, there's a lot of training out there. There's a lot of courses. There's a lot of free YouTube videos and different ways to learn. But I've always felt the best way is to learn from someone who's actually done it and who's doing it, versus a lot of these people that are teaching it either haven't really been very successful or don't know how to teach it or don't really know how to do it. So I got frustrated with all the misinformation that's out there. A lot of stuff goes out of date really fast. You got to be careful what you're watching, what you're listening to. Facebook forums, someone will post, you can't do this or you can't do that, and it becomes people start parroting it and it becomes gospel, and it's simply not true. So I started the Freedom Ticket. So it's a training course, 22 hours of a video and over the shoulder looking, and weekly calls with me to answer questions, ask questions and answer questions. And so that's the Freedom Ticket. And then Illuminati Mastermind is the next level up. That's for people who are already selling on Amazon and they want to get an edge. They want to figure out how can I 2x or 3x or maybe 10x my business with a couple of the latest, greatest, more advanced strategies on marketing and how to do everything around Amazon and some stuff outside of Amazon as well. So those are the two things that I do as well, in addition to the speaking and running the brands on Amazon.
That's really amazing, and I couldn't agree more with you. And you brought about a very interesting point where you said there's a lot of content on out there online, and what would you advise our viewers on how to discriminate against like bad advice, or how can you tell like something is good and versus something is bad for amateur sellers?
It's difficult as a new seller. It's very difficult to know who can you trust and who can you not trust. I mean, I think the best thing to do is probably start off listening to some of the podcasts that are out there. There's lots of free ones that are out there for the Amazon space. You can just go on to you can do Google Amazon FBA podcast or private label podcast, and you can find a whole list of them. Start listening there and see who you identify with and see who sounds legitimate, sounds like they know what they're talking about. And then maybe go see if they have some sort of training or course or something. As far as like the YouTube content, anybody that's saying that you can get rich quick, or you can quit your job tomorrow and live the rest of your life on the beach drinking beers and checking your Amazon account once a week, run as far away as you can from those people. People that are showing big flashy screenshots, a lot of times those can be very misleading. A lot of new people don't realize that when you launch a new product on Amazon, everything counts as a full price sale. So even if I'm selling the item at 95% discount, so say it's a $20 item and I'm selling it for $1 to try to get positioning on Amazon, I might have to give away 500 of those items in order to get to the first page of Amazon. It's a sales velocity game. And so, but those 500 sales, they don't go onto Amazon's records as 500 times $1. That's what they pay you, but they go on Amazon's records as 500 times $20, which is 10,000. So someone will show you a screenshot of one of their students or something like, look, in the first month, they already did $10,000 in sales, and they'll show you a screenshot from Amazon, and it's pure bullshit. It's pure lies because they don't show you the bottom line, what they actually, they might have done $10,000 in total top line sales, but there's all the discounts for the promotions, there's all the costs. They probably actually lost about $5,000. So you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. For anybody that's showing Lamborghinis or, people this is a real business, and it's a very, very good business to be in, but you have to treat it like a business. I recommend people in my Freedom Ticket, if you're working a job right now, don't plan on quitting it right away unless you have a lot of money saved up in the bank that you can live on. You need to probably stay in your job another 6 months to a year while you're getting this Amazon business going. And then once it's up and running, then you can consider quitting. But to me, it's about a 3 or 4 year process. The first year, you're pretty much learning. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to lose some money. All of us do. There's a few people that get lucky and that never happens to, but most people end up making mistakes and losing a little bit of money. So hopefully you're earning a little bit. So you're learning and earning. The second year you're optimizing, you're adding in more products, you're adding different what's called variations, like different colors or sizes to what you have. And the third year, you could either continue growing it, but I recommend if you do everything right, you consider selling your business. And in the third year, you start preparing to sell it. And the fourth year, maybe you sell your Amazon business, because there's a big market right now for people and private equity companies that want to buy Amazon businesses. They don't want to do all the hard work at the beginning. They just want to come in and buy someone that's already successful. And a lot of times that's when you can make the most money. So the problem with this business is, on paper, you might have a nice profit. So maybe you're doing $100,000 a year in sales on Amazon, and you have a 25% profit margin, 20 or 25% profit margin. So you think you have a $25,000 profit, and on paper, you do. but I can tell you, you probably don't have $25,000 in your pocket because this business takes a lot of money to keep buying new inventory. So a lot of times you're reinvesting those profits, and you can get to a point where you can take a nice amount of money out, but usually takes some time. But a lot of times, if you can, by selling the business, you can get a big hit of cash fast. I mean, I know people like my friends David and Leah that sold their business in 3 years for $4 million. They were doing baby products. They just kept reinvesting all their profits. He kept working his job. She was a stay-at-home mom, and they just built it up, and then were able to sell it for $4 million. And they got most of that in cash. So now they can pay off their bills, take it, have a nice dinner, go on a nice vacation. Now they're starting all over, doing it again, and they hope in the next 3 years to sell the next one for $10 million. So that's the beauty of this business, is it's extremely high leverage if you do it right, and the big payday is often when you sell it, not as you're running it.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Like, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, I talked to a few sellers who think it's so easy to sell online, and then they think that they can hit profits within the first 2 months of starting to sell online, like, which is not the case. And I completely agree with you. And one of the things that you talked about was like how you have to spend more, and then you have to wait and build your business until like you start like going into the positive profit side, right? So and one of the things that stands out about you is that you aren't afraid of experimenting. I'm guessing you've lost a lot of money figuring out what works and what doesn't, right? So would you recommend this to intermediate and beginner sellers as well?
No, I would not recommend intermediate and beginner sellers do too much experimenting. Learn as much as you can, and learn from those that have gone before you. But most big sellers do make mistakes. Yes, I've lost probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, either experimenting or choosing the wrong product or getting in a hurry, or going with my gut feeling. For example, I did some dog treats last year, and I went to a big dog show in Las Vegas, and I saw a bunch of different things. And I'm like, these are really cool. I have dogs myself, and I think this would be cool for my dog. And it's like a really healthy type of thing, organic, only one ingredient thing. And I was like, I'm going to launch these on Amazon. And I spent a bunch of money launching them, and it was a total failure. And what I did is I went with my gut, and I went with rather than going with the data. And the thing about Amazon is it's all about the data. You can't get emotionally tied to a product. It's not about reinventing a new invention necessarily. And sometimes that can be great, but that's better for like Kickstarter or something else like that. But it's analyzing the data, and there's lots of third-party tools like yours and others that are out there where you analyze the data and you see where there's holes in the market, and you go and you fill those. And it's the people that are most successful in this business are the people that don't care what they're selling. It's all about the numbers. So if you're not good with math and not good at numbers, get somebody on your team that is, because that's where you make the money. It's in the data analysis and using all these third-party tools to analyze what's happening on Amazon. And then if a product doesn't work, you don't stay with it. Don't say, this is my baby, but I know it's better than everybody else's. I know mine's better. You just got to move on. And so some people get stuck with that mentality. Is like they just can't let go because this is their little baby, and that's a mistake a lot of people make. So it's all in the numbers.
But how can you say when to quit? So how will you know when it's over?
Well, for me, I have a rule that if a product is not making me I just cut it and move on. And
Right.
sometimes, I've had a product where the first 7 reviews were all 1 star. It's just it was another dog treat, and I thought it was a good dog treat. And when the people bought it and gave it to their dog, the dog wouldn't eat it. They just stuck up their nose, and dogs eat everything, and the dog wouldn't eat it. So I'm like, this is bad. So that one wasn't a try to salvage it. That was like, just, okay, let's cut our losses and move on.
Right, definitely. And so speaking of data, so if you had to boil down all of the strategies and the data points to, let's say, 10 factors that make or break the business, so what do you think those 10 factors would be?
10 factors. Well, the number one is keyword demand on Amazon. It's not, there's some products you have to be careful with. Don't worry about BSR. Too many people get caught up with a BSR. And when they're doing product research, they may see something that has a high BSR and think, oh, wow, this is selling really good on Amazon, so let me go sell one of these too. That could be a huge mistake, because you need to reverse engineer and see where that BSR is coming from. Maybe these people just got featured on a big television show. Maybe they have a website that they're sending all their traffic over to Amazon. Maybe they're very good at Facebook ads and they're sending traffic to Amazon. That's what's helping that BSR. You want to look at where the demand is on Amazon itself. And so by using keyword tools, I mean, I personally use Helium 10. By using keyword tools like that, that tell you the demand that's on Amazon. And then you find where there's good demand on Amazon and there's people that are selling at a reasonable rate on Amazon, but you got to look at market depth too. A lot of people will say, oh, this one guy's doing well, so let me do a product just like him. But maybe maybe he has a patent, or maybe there's some other issue why he's doing well and the others aren't. So you got to look at market depth. You got to make sure, that the top 10 or so all are selling pretty decently, so that that, okay, I can come in here and if I take position number 5, I'm still going to sell pretty well too. Then you got to look at like I said, the keyword demand. You got to make sure that the demand's on Amazon, because if you're having to send all your traffic, if you're doing a lot of Facebook to Amazon, you might as well do Facebook to your own Shopify store or something where you can control and own the customer a little bit better. That's another key there. Another key is differentiating the product. You can't just do another Me Too product. And sometimes differentiating doesn't mean just adding something that's not necessary, like a grill brush or something. It doesn't mean adding LED lights to the grill brush to make it different, because people may not care about LED lights on a grill brush. But you need to differentiate the product. So if all the products look the same, it's going to be hard to compete. Then you're just competing on price. And there's a lot of people selling on Amazon that aren't making money. Some people are selling it for pennies of profit, especially some of the Chinese sellers. And so, and some of them don't know their numbers. They know they have cash coming into the bank, but they really don't know their numbers. So you have to be careful there too. Then you have to know how to do a listing on a product. You got to have good imagery. You got to have good keyword research, good titles and bullet points, and you have to know how to launch a product. I mean, there's lots. You can't just put a product up on Amazon and expect people to start buying it. It just doesn't work that way. You have to show Amazon's algorithms that you're wanted, and there's ways to do that, and that costs money through advertising or through product giveaways, or in that case, you might want to use Facebook to drive a little traffic to get the ball rolling. But so there's a lot of moving parts to it and a lot of critical success. But if I had to boil it down, those 10 to 1, one criteria, it would be product selection. You've got to get the right product. And that doesn't mean agonizing. Like I see people taking 6 months they're pulling out their hair to try the right product. You can find the right product in an hour if you have the right tools. And so that's why I'm saying earlier, it's all about the data and the right tools. So that's where it's at.
And how do you select the products?
I select the products based on keyword demand and opportunity in the market. So, for example, maybe I'll use some different tools like Blackbox, for example, from Helium 10, and I can go in there and I can type in, okay, show me which list. There's 500 in the United States. There's 550 million products in the United States for sale on Amazon. So going through those there's no way you could do that by hand. So I use this tool that goes through them, and I can put in parameters. So I can search Amazon differently than what you do on Amazon. So I can say, show me all the products that have only one photo, because you get 9 pictures on Amazon, but they only have one photo, and their bullet points are not very filled out or anything. And show me, so I can put all these parameters, like 10 different conditions. So I can say, show me the products that have less than less than 2 pictures. Show me the ones that have under 200 reviews. Plus, they have a star rating, a review rating of less than 4. And they're selling, say, $10,000 a month, at least a minimum of $10,000 a month. And the price for this product is between $19 and $30, or whatever parameters. There's about 25 different things you can do. And then I hit submit, and it will search through those 550 million products, and it will come back with 5, 10, 20, sometimes a couple hundred different products that match that criteria. And then I can go and I can look at someone who maybe they have a 3.9 star rating, which is not good on Amazon. but they're still selling pretty well. So I can take a look at their listing. I can read the reviews and see what people are complaining about. Why are they giving them some bad star reviews? And maybe I can fix that problem. Maybe they're all complaining about the same issue. I see a pattern in the reviews. And so I'm like, well, if I can go get the manufacturer and fix that problem, then I can put out this product. And if they're selling well, even with some bad reviews, maybe I can kick their butt and take their place. So that's one of the ways that I search for products. And then once I find a product like that, I still want to make sure the demand is on Amazon. So I'll go and use a tool like Cerebro that will give me the reverse ASINs for what they're probably selling for. And I'll make sure there's good demand for those keywords just to make sure that the traffic is not coming from off of Amazon. And if it's within Amazon, then I'll reach out to a supplier, see if I can source that product at a good price. A lot of times the profits are made in the sourcing. So you got to be good on the sourcing side too. And then if I can source it at a reasonable price at a reasonable profit, then I might launch that product.
Interesting, interesting. And one of the observations, I mean, I get this question a lot, and I also ask this question a lot to others. So one of the things that happens while product selection is using the same parameters, and this is fairly common among a lot of sellers, and this breeds competition, right? So a lot of the times when you actually launch the product, it turns out that a bunch of others have also launched the same product during the same time. So how do you avoid this?
Yeah, there's two things that happen. Sometimes there's one of these big courses will come out and they'll give a list of here's 100 hot sellers on Amazon. You should never do any of those products because everybody else, like you just said, is doing them too. And then there's others that will teach you pick something that's between this price and this price. It weighs less than this amount. They give you like a formula, or you see it in the Facebook groups or you see it in courses. And then everybody goes to usually a software like Jungle Scout or something like that and punches that in and they find the same product. And they're like, oh, wait, this is a great opportunity. But like you said, at the same time, there's 500 other people that are using the exact same formula and they're finding the same product. So you think you found something, you source it, you get it out, you put it out onto Amazon. And by the time you get it out, there's a bunch of other people doing the same thing. You're like, what the heck? So that's why in like the Freedom Ticket course, I don't teach people formulas. I teach you how to think on your own and how to evaluate on your own. I don't say, a lot of people want a shortcut. They want, what's the shortcut? They want a winning lottery ticket. A lot of people aren't willing to do the work. They're like, I've heard you can make good money in this Amazon business. What's the easiest way to do it? What's the shortest way? And they want a magic pill. And there is no magic pill. And that's what bites a lot of people in the butt is they think when they hear one of these magic pills and they go and they type the same thing into one of these tools and then they get the same results and everybody's doing the same thing. That's one of the reasons I don't use some of the bigger tools as well because and I don't teach a formula.
Okay, interesting. And for the big question, the most exciting quarter is just around the corner, Q4. So what strategies do you personally use and what do you advise the viewers?
Well, you need to make sure need to make sure you're ranked in October. Ideally now. I mean, so if you have you need to get your positioning now. So if you have a product that's out there or you're about to launch, you need to get it launched this month because it's much easier to rank in September than it is in October through January. And you just want to be able to ride the wave. So right now, maybe to get on, you need to be on the top half of page one for the main keywords you're going after, and you want to do that now. Don't wait because now maybe you only have to do a promotion with 100 units versus in end of October or November you might have to do it with 250 units. So it's going to cost you more and it's also going to be more difficult. So that's the number one strategy is check all your keyword positioning for the main keywords from all your products right now, and if any of them are not in that top half of the first page, maybe go ahead and get them ranked there. The second one would make sure you have your inventory set up so that you're and get ahead of that so that you don't run out. And one thing to remember too is the sales dramatically pick up obviously the day after Thanksgiving in the US because it's called Black Friday, and they continue until just before Christmas, usually 1 or 2 days before Christmas, and then they drop for a few days. But January is just as good. So a lot of people think, oh, December, Christmas has come, it's over with, but January, is almost as good as December, because what happens is a lot of people get gift cards from Amazon, and so they're redeeming those gift cards. A lot of people got something for Christmas that they don't like, and so they're sending it back to Amazon, because Amazon allows returns until January 31st for anything bought November 1st or later. So you basically have a 3-month return window. And so there's a lot of people sending stuff back and taking a credit and buying something different, and it could be your product. So make sure you're prepared for that as well. And then as far as the PPC gets very expensive, sponsored product ads during this time. So really make sure you're taking a look at the data, know what you're converting on, know what you're going to focus on for the fourth quarter. And so that's the big strategies. And then I think getting in gift guides. I just did a presentation, an hour presentation on a free summit called AMZ Quarter 4. It's I think that's what's the name of it, AMZ Quarter 4. It's a summit, the free summit that Augustus does over at his site. And one of the things that I talked about on there was gift guides. A lot of people overlook gift guides. Christmas in the United States is about 50 times bigger gift giving time than Valentine's or Easter or Mother's Day or Father's Day. So there's tons of blogs, there's tons of influencers, there's tons of TV shows and newspapers and magazines that put out these gift guides, top 20 new electronics for the year, top 20 dog toys, or top 20 kitchen gadgets, or whatever it may be. And there's ways to get into those things, oftentimes for free. And that can be a big driver of sales too. Most of the time you got to do that. You can't wait. Sometimes right now maybe a little bit too late for some of them, but so there's ways to do that as well.
That's great. Yeah, I think you covered everything that's need to be done for quarter 4 for sure. And given your huge background on photography, what are your do you have any tips on what constitutes a high converting image?
A high converting image is an image that stands out and gets the click. So your images are super important on Amazon, and a lot of people, they just take pictures with their cell phone, and I know some people that are doing well. They took pictures with their cell phone and they're selling well, and I look at their listing and I'm like, dude, what the heck is this crap? And they're like, who cares? I'm making 20 grand a month, selling this product. I said, yeah, but would you like to make 30? By investing 500 to $1,000, make 30 every month, extra 10,000 every month. That's 120,000 a year for a $1,000 or 500 to $1,000 investment. And some people are lazy and don't want to do it, but your images are crucial. People eat with their eyes first. And so what gets people to your page on Amazon is your title and your bullet points. That's the keywords that's so that you show up when someone types in a certain keyword. But what's going to get the click is your image. It's not so much your price, because sometimes if the image is really good, maybe you're not the lowest price on the page. Everybody thinks people on Amazon search for buy based on price, and that's not true. Some people do want the lowest price and they don't care, but there's a lot of people that are willing to pay $1 or $2 or $5 more for something that they perceive to be of a higher quality or higher value, even if it's not. And since they can't touch the product, they can't feel it, they can't hold it in their hands like they would in a store, flip the box over, your images have to do all the talking. And so a lot of people, they're never going to read your bullet points. They're never going to read your description. They might skim it really fast, read 12 words in there or something, but they're going to look at all your pictures generally. And so your pictures have to do the selling, and it's crucial that the lighting is right. I see it now. Some people will do Photoshop. They'll take I just saw one the other day. There's someone who's selling a raft, like a little raft to sit in the lake and float down the river or the lake. And they had taken a picture of the raft and photoshopped in a girl and a guy sitting in the raft and photoshopped it onto a river. It was just obvious to me. The shadows aren't right. When you look at the picture, something looks amiss. The shadows aren't right. The angles aren't right. Now there are some very sophisticated people that can make that look really good, but it's hard to find those people. So spend money to get good photography, because a lot of times if what that picture is going to get the click, and then if you can't get the click, you can't get the sale. So a lot of times I'll take my picture and I'll Photoshop it. I'll take a screenshot of all the products on page 1. I'll Photoshop my picture into position 3, and then I might take that and use a site called like pickfoo.com, which is a testing site. You have to pay a little bit of money for it, but I'll put put that picture up on there, and then I'll ask 200 random strangers which product on here would you click on, and they don't know anything else. It's like based on the pictures, which ones would you click on, and hopefully it's mine. If it's not mine, if it's one of the other ones, I'm going to evaluate and say, why did 70% of the people click on this other one? And they have to, the beauty about this testing site is they have to tell you why. They'll say, oh, the price was lower, or they'll say, I like the way the picture looked, or the red caught my eye, or whatever. And so you can evaluate, and then make sure you put your best foot forward. There's all kinds of things you can do that most people don't do. They just ask their friends, they ask their family, which picture do you like better, or they'll ask their buddies, and that's the wrong way to do it, because that's not your audience.
Great. Yeah, I think I really like the I think that was pretty clever. Like, I don't see a lot of users actually A/B testing their pictures, and generally I see a lot of sellers again like asking their friends and families about the pictures, but totally, I mean, their opinion will be biased, and that's not the audience. And I think I couldn't agree more with that particular strategy. And do you have any more tips like that for our viewers on what?
I've got tons of tips. That's what the Freedom Ticket and Illuminati Mastermind, or that's the type of stuff I teach there. So that's there's there. I mean, the key though is it's not about all the little hacks. People always want to know little hacks or little tricks, or how can I get an edge, and it's really not so much about that. Those things can make a difference sometimes, but they're usually short-lived. It's all about the fundamentals. There's really only four things you need to do to be successful on Amazon, whether that's selling in India or in the US or Europe. That's pick a good product, create a good listing, and launch it properly. Those three things, and then step and repeat. Just repeat it, repeat the process. That's all there is to it. You master those fundamentals, you can be successful in this business. You don't have to be, you don't have to have all nuances and little tricks and hacks and whatever to succeed. Uh, just master the core, and you'll be fine.
Awesome, awesome. And for our last question, apart from being a celebrated seller, we also know that you love to travel, and you've been to about 90 countries. So, and I believe you attend a lot of summits, and you speak to a lot of power sellers as well. Can you tell us a little more about how your experience has been so far? And yeah.
Yeah, I love to travel. I've set up my businesses so that I have that freedom. That's why I do this business. It's not for the money. Some people, they get motivated by money and they want to become multimillionaires, but once you get to a certain level of money, it doesn't matter. Sometimes it doesn't matter if you have $2 million or $3 million or whatever. I'm just throwing numbers out. It's about a lifestyle. So I'm not trying to build a huge company and have 100 employees and do $100 million in sales. That's not my goal. My goal is to have the lifestyle and the freedom to do what the heck I want when I want. And that means I don't need to make, have $100 million companies with all the headaches and all the employees and dealing with all that stuff. I don't need to be bigger. It's not, to me, a competition of can I beat my buddies and sell more. It's about what do I need to sell to live the lifestyle that I want to live. And so for everybody, that's different. Some people selling on Amazon maybe $100,000 a year, and they're thrilled to death, and that's giving them the lifestyle they want. Other people, maybe it's $2 million a year they need to sell. So that freedom, though, is what's allowed me to travel, and I've been to 92 countries all over the world. So I love travel. I love experiencing new places. I think travel is one of the best things that you can do. You got to get outside your comfort zone. I've been to India a few times. I love India. Some people, it's just a different place. All the sights, the smells, the colors, the massive amounts of people and animals and everything. But it's cool, and it's the best education you can get, because life is about the experiences you have and the people you meet. It's not about how much money you have in the bank or what kind of car you have in the driveway. So travel is one of those things that I think is super important. And I think it should be mandatory, like after people graduate high school or in college or something, that you have to travel. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't do it, or if they do it, they don't go somewhere that's convenient, or they speak the language, or they understand the food, so they're not eating some strange foods or something that they don't know. And I think that's a huge mistake. So that I enjoy this business, this e-commerce business. That's why I've done it for so long, is because I can work remotely. I can do whatever, as long as I've got an internet connection. Um, I can do whatever I want. I mean, I remember the days in 2004, before internet was everywhere. I was in some island in the Caribbean somewhere, and this hotel didn't have internet, so I was on my cell phone using a data plan, paying $1 a minute or something, just so that I could be able to work. But that's not the case these days. Pretty much internet's everywhere for the most part. So as long as you have an internet connection, I can work and I can do what I want. If I want to sleep in one day, I can sleep in, or if I want to get on a plane and go somewhere, I can do it. And so I value that freedom. That's what this business gives you. And not in the beginning, the first year or two, you're going to be busting your ass, working hard, working a lot of hours. But if you get it to the point, and keep at it and don't give up, because there is no better business than Amazon right now to leverage yourself. And so if the first time you fail, get back up on your feet, treat that like your MBA. You just learned a lot, and do it again, because it is very, very good business.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Kevin. I really enjoyed speaking with you today, and I bet our viewers will take a lot from the interview with you today as well. And thank you so much for joining us on today's Seller Speak session. Go to Facebook and follow us, and you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please do head over to our website and sign up for our 7-day free trial. And I hope to get some feedback from you about our tool, and I hope to have you on our show again soon. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you very much. Take care, everybody.